I would enjoy debating with you. You have a keen mind.
Welcome to Debate 9. There's conference in that Nebula. It's the all-ladies edition. Jane Mader, myself, Ashley Millard, and Katie Puxley are here. We're all defending our husband's honors. They're all previous champions of this show.
Did Dave win one of them?
Yep.
All right.
They all have.
Of course.
On this show, we have 9 Star Trek themed debates, unless there is a tie, and then there will be a tiebreaker. There's 30-second arguments followed by a 30-second free-for-all. The debaters are also the judges, so the questions that we brought in, we are the judges on. And I think we're ready to go.
Sounds good.
Right.
Who have we got first? Davan, do you have the questions?
Or we just read our own questions.
I think they're going to come along and scroll on the bottom.
There's me.
Okay.
Oh,
all right. I'm judging first. So be it resolved. Tribbles are legitimately terrifying. Jane, you're for, and Katie, you're against.
Oh, you know I love Tribble. This is going to be hard for me. Well, I think they're terrifying. If anyone has seen the short track with the Tribbles, where they all multiply and take over the ship, they're pretty scary. They can eat all your food. If you're a Klingon, they're very scary. They can just take over the ship and just breed and breed and breed. You have no air to eat, breathe, no food to eat, and I don't know. That's pretty scary to me. And 6.
Okay. We'll reset the timer. Katie.
We've all seen a Tribble. They're legitimately adorable. And, people, humans, aliens, sometimes let things get out of control. But when you learn to manage things well, you can love a Tribble and legitimately have a Tribble without it being overwhelming and terrifying. So it's all about Tribble management.
All right. I'm not sure you can manage. A free-for-all?
Yeah, I think it's the free-for-all.
Free-for-all, okay. I'm not sure you can manage something that's born pregnant. Like, that's it. How are you going to manage that? It just... It's born pregnant, and then you have to get rid of it, and that's just sad, so...
Yeah, no, I think that the Tribbles can be... there's a place for everybody in the Trek universe, so I think there's definitely a place for Tribbles too.
No, I trust the Klingons. I think they know their stuff. They know nothing scares a Klingon, but a Tribble scares a Klingon. That's pretty scary to me. I don't need to know anything more than that. It scares a Klingon. I'm scared.
See, I think they're terrifying. So we should have been on opposite.
We should have been opposite.
I'm going to give it to Jane. I think her last point was fair. You got to trust the Klingons on that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good question.
I agree. Well, congratulations, Jane.
Oh, thanks. Good to be.
Okay, and on to the next.
This is mine. In the Inner Light, Picard lives 40 years in 25 minutes of real time. Be it resolved, there's no way Starfleet should have allowed him to return to duty without extensive retraining. I'm going to go with Katie for, Ashley against. You guys familiar with this episode?
Yes. It's a great one. Who's first? Oh, and we have a timer.
4 always fights first.
4 fight first? Okay.
It's pretty obvious that kind of emotional and mental trauma would be absolutely overwhelming. I think even if immediately Picard is able to come back to himself immediately, that the reality of trying to digest that much of an information would have taken so much time. Moreover, I think in reality, Starfleet would have also been interested in trying to figure out what he'd learned.
Okay. Ashley.
I'm going to say that living an extra 40 years in there gives him more insight in the in-world, into his own self. You only get wiser as you get older, and he got these extra 40 years in those 25 minutes that he shouldn't have had, and it just makes him a wiser and more compassionate captain, because he lived through having a family and everything, and now he knows he's got families on his ship, and he knows what those officers will be going through.
So free for all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, all of what Ashley said is true, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't need to be retrained and be able to digest that. It's still the emotional trauma of having done it in 25 minutes. We see this later with O'Brien when he's in prison and lives a whole lifetime, where it takes all that emotional unpacking. They don't do it with Picard, and they should have.
He didn't need to be retrained either, O'Brien, though, and Picard has a counselor right on the ship that he can speak to while still performing his duties.
Yeah, I think they still should have pulled him off duty for at least a while. And probably they did. We often don't see those interlude scenes too, right?
Wow, this is hard.
We're not going to make it easy.
No. Oh, wow. I think I have to go with Ashley, just because, just for the expanding on how that time improved him. Like I was just more thinking about passwords and stuff like that. Like I liked how you really made him a better person. So I wasn't, I like that kind of. So it goes to Ashley.
That wasn't an easy one to fight against.
No, I didn't. I didn't think you could win, honestly.
So this must be mine. Yeah, you can't fit two baseball teams and an audience in the holosuite. Be it resolved that even with all the holodeck technology on DS9, the holosuite was too small and could not have hosted the baseball game in Take Me Out to the Holosuite. So Ashley for and Jane against.
So you're saying the holosuite could not have. So
we've seen the holosuite when it's not. And if you decide to put two baseball teams of people plus the DS9.
Yeah, but you're saying, sorry, just be resolved.
It's too small.
That it was too small. And I'm fighting that it was too small. Okay.
Too small. I'm going to say it's not too small. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. We've seen those holosuites and how absolutely tiny they are. And you got 9 people, I think, on a baseball team. And so that's 18 people, plus you get in all the audience. That's a lot of people, and you can fit a lot of people on Deep Space Nine. I don't know how many people are going to be into baseball then, but you get maybe 20 people in the audience. That's 40, you could get 40 people. That's a lot of people. You can't fit that in that tiny room.
Right. I think you can, because the way I think of the holodeck is more like a hull of mirrors. So you're not always seeing what you're seeing. So you're thinking something's far away. It's not. So you might think the field is 50 feet to run to first base, but no, it's only 2 feet, and it's like it messes with your feet. You think you're running fast, so the room is a lot bigger. I'm thinking about with Data, how Moriarty stole or captured Crusher. And like, if they were in one little room, they walked around and around and around and couldn't find the other two people in that room. So the holodeck plays with your mind. Hall of mirrors, anything can happen. Doesn't matter. It can do whatever. It messes with time and distance, not time, distance. So yeah, absolutely. It can mess with you, your senses, everything. So definitely possible. Play
All
a
right.
baseball game.
We ready for a free-for-all?
Yep.
Even if it messes with your senses, though, it's not going to change the size of the room. Like you can't fit. You have a hall of mirror that looks bigger. You still can't fit 20 people into a tiny little space that's 2 foot by 2 foot. Even if it feels like it's 40 foot by 40 foot, it's physically impossible. Like the physics come into it, and you just can't fit that many people into it because there are still in there that you're going to, and you can run a little bit, but you're going to walk into a wall eventually.
Well, I think it's like almost like a walking escalator under your feet. You're running, but you're not really moving. But everyone around you, it appears that you're running a distance. That's how the impression I get from the holodeck. So I think it's fancy enough that it's possible. Like, I mean, 500 people, maybe not, but 18 people, a couple of people in the bleachers, 20 people in the bleachers, definitely possible.
You guys make this hard. You're right. The judging is not any easier than the debating. Yeah, I want it to be what Jane says, but I'm gonna give it to Ashley. I don't know. Like if you're swinging your arms around and you've got that many people in a small holosuite, I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Ashley.
There's something with Doctor Who technology and holo suites and the holodecks, because even the holodecks aren't that big on the Enterprise, but like you think about, they're riding horses and it's these huge worlds that they're in, and so there's something with like it folding in on itself that all these people can be in there. It's a crazy piece of technology.
Bigger on the inside, yeah.
And the one that always bothers me, Davan's gonna get upset with this, but the one that bothers me is actually not the dampers and the moving around. I'm like, fine, you're on a treadmill. That much noise in that small a space, if you have all those dampers, how does each person hear the right thing? That's my problem. Anyway.
Maybe they pump in some gases that dampen sound strategically, like directed. I don't know.
Somewhere Davin's off Googling something.
Yeah, that's right. He's gonna come in and this would be a good episode of one of the shows. Something we can debate it. All right, it resolved. More than any other captain, Janeway is the one that will be the most celebrated and talked about in the distant future. Oh, Katie, you go for, and Jane, you're against.
Okay. I think the legacy of Janeway is absolutely clear to be sent that far out. And the amount of knowledge, information that they are able to overcome, collect, and then just the entire dealing with the Borg Queen and everything else to come back. I think Janeway will, just exceed the possibilities that the other captains will even have the opportunities to deal with.
Okay.
Well,
I'm going to say, I don't know what Janeway did, really. I mean, she got out there, had a chance to come home a few times, turned that down, took like 7 years to get her people home, turned down multiple offers from Q, and so many times she screwed up. Finally got them home. She didn't, Cisco helped with stopping the Dominion War. Picard stopped the Borg. I don't know what Janeway did. She was a decent captain, got her people home. Even after she got home, was she became an admiral? Did she do anything of significance? I've seen her in Prodigy, and meh. I mean, she's still an admiral. They don't talk about all her like anything she's done. It's great. So I don't know. She's a meh captain to me, not celebrated. When you're comparing to Picard, I mean,
Are
Archer.
we in the free for all now? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Let's go free for all.
Yeah, look, we all know the opening to Star Trek. It's to boldly go where they've never gone before. And that's what Janeway does harder and further than any other captain. And
She
so when they
accidentally
bring,
got there.
yeah,
No,
but
she didn't
that
go.
doesn't, there are so many accidents on TNG. That's kind of like every episode of like, that doesn't negate it. And nobody's asking her to be perfect. But I mean, she's going to bring home knowledge that nobody else has and experience things that nobody else does. And she'll still be the captain that did it.
I don't know. It seems like an easy one to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that one to Katie.
I feel like I should have won.
I feel like that would have been a harder debate for men to do.
Yeah.
I think we all like Janeway, so. And Picard.
I haven't finished watching Voyager. I was like, please do not ask me anything about Voyager.
Janeway is the captain that crippled the Borg.
They were the lame Borg. They were lame by then. That's not the Borg.
I don't know. Picard Borg is the lamest.
They ruined the Borg.
New question.
In Voyager. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna start. It's just scrolling. Okay. In The Best of Both Worlds, Part 2, Guinan said her relationship with Picard goes beyond friendship. Be it resolved. That means they had sex. I'm gonna go for Ashley against Katie.
I mean, when it comes down to it, the captain that was kind of the sluttiest captain was Picard. So of course he had sex with Guinan. He's got the little robe. He goes off and he's got his Jamaharon. He's got Vash and Crusher and the ones when the episode where he goes back and he's at the academy again, they talk about how he's like a ladies' man and he has sex with everyone.
Look, just because something goes beyond friendship, I mean, obviously Guinan has a better sense of space and time, and we all know the opening of that episode where they go back to San Francisco for the first time, and she says, "Do you remember the first time we met?" And that he can't. Like, it literally exceeds what would be normal space and physics. So, I mean, maybe sex can exceed space and physics, but I don't think that's what she was talking about.
All right.
She's only getting the good alcohol for someone that's given her a good orgasm, let's be honest.
I don't think that's a woman's only relationship to good alcohol. Is a good orgasm. I can certainly enjoy good alcohol with people that have not given me good orgasms or given me orgasms at all.
I suppose.
All right. I'm going to give this one to Katie.
that was ridiculous.
How many times has the voice said orgasm? Can we have a tally?
Never.
Yeah, okay.
I still don't know. The jury's out with me, though. Did they or didn't they?
Well, that's what we're going to get back to that anyway. So this one is mine. I missed the first part of the scroll, so I'm going to wait for it to come back around. Trek is best when there's a moral to the story. Be resolved that Star Trek's best episodes are the ones that use science fiction to displace and investigate contemporary issues. Try to hear it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Trek.
It's a big one. So Trek is best when there's the moral to the story. Be it resolved that Star Trek's best episodes are the ones that use science fiction to displace and investigate contemporary issues. Jane, do you want to be for? You've been a lot of against, and Ashley will do against.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say yes. I'm for this. I'm a lover of the episodic Trek, the old ones where they always had this moral to the episode. I find that it's the best way to view Trek. It gets them us involved. It's satisfying. It's a beginning, middle, and end. It teaches us stuff. When you get away from that, and then it just becomes more of a soap opera. And Deep Space Nine, sometimes it's just like they just go on and on and on. I like the succinct. Here's a problem. Here's a problem that it's a mirror of our society, and this is how we're going to solve it. Boom, boom, done.
Great. All right, Ashley.
Agree. I think Star Trek, it needs to have that bit where we're in the future and we're past all of the issues that we're dealing with. We want to see Trek as this beautiful vision of the future where they're beyond our contemporary issues, and they have their own things and they're off exploring. And I think the best episodes are the ones where they do just go somewhere and they meet new people and they learn new things, and we get to see fun that goes along with that.
Okay, free for all.
I mean, when I think back to my favorite Star Trek episodes, I'm definitely not thinking back to the ones where it's this huge dilemma and they have to deal with this morality thing. I'm thinking back to the really fun ones, the ones that make me laugh, the ones that take me out of my own life for 45 minutes and don't make me remember that, oh my God, this is going on in real life also. I like it to be entertainment.
So I guess I like to learn stuff. I like to open my mind to think of a different way, and that's what science fiction is all about: is to open your mind. It's not to laugh. It's not to cry. It's to go ahead, to forward thinking. What's possible? And I think using allegories, or whatever the word is, allows us to do that. Allows us to tell us that story and lull us into just thinking it's the story, and then we get this aha at the end, and you're like, oh my God, you've really opened my mind. This is what I came here for. And that's what science fiction is for me.
Oh, you guys are really good. I'm gonna give it to Jane. I don't know. I can't make a tie. Where's Davan? Can I have a tie? You guys want 30 more seconds? Because I'm sorry. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else, or do
I think Jane can get it.
Good. All right.
All right. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, guys.
No, we're good. We don't need the timer, Davan.
I don't know if I could argue against that anymore. I don't know if I could come up with something against it anymore. So
I know some of them you're just like, I don't want to do
yeah.
that. That's not what I think. All right. Do we have a new question?
Should be mine. Okay, be it resolved. Picard should have been removed from duty after Wolf 359. 4 is Jane, and against is Katie.
Interesting. Sorry, 4. Okay. Well, this would be kind of similar to the Inner Light.
Yes.
Good question. Yeah, absolutely. He should have been removed from duty. They didn't know what the effect the Borg had on him. What he took a little sabbatical to go to France to see his brother, and then he came back. He was obviously still troubled. He was the first human to become a Borg and then be unsimilated. What does that even mean? And to put him in that position of power, again, of the flagship ship of Starfleet with that much power under his thumb, it's crazy that they put him back in charge. So,
Okay. Katie.
So, as Jane said, they gave him a sabbatical, and they have a counselor on deck who is a Beta Z. So there are structures in place the whole time to make sure that he is supported as the captain. Crusher could have taken him off duty, and he's just had this massive experience. The Borg haven't gone away, and they need that. They absolutely need that knowledge afterwards, and they need those kind of resources and leadership in a Federation that's been decimated. So they do send him to France, and when he comes back, they absolutely need him.
Okay, so I don't want to spoil anyone for Picard, but if someone has seen Picard here, there were lasting effects from this, and Starfleet didn't know anything about exactly what the Borg did to him. He was immersed in it, and I think if you've seen Picard, my argument is I just don't want to spoil for anybody. He wasn't over it. He still heard the Borg. He was still slightly connected. He heard the voices.
And I think we know that in TNG, we see that there are deep connections, but that kind of resonance for an enemy that is still out there, he's the only person that has firsthand connection and knowledge to that. They absolutely need him on their side at that moment. They're not dealing with a defeated Borg. They're dealing with a Borg that's still out there and that's gunning for them and has decimated everybody else. We know what happens to other civilizations, so they have to have Picard, and they need him.
No, I think the Borg has their fingers into him, and that it was just too risky. I don't know what Starfleet was thinking. I know they did with O'Brien. Those admirals in Starfleet, there's something wrong with them. Definitely, they make the wrong decisions.
Yeah, I think that's easy to say because we all know a Starfleet admiral. But yeah, they you can't lose that amount of knowledge and that firsthand experience and still go on with a Borg that's still out there gunning for them.
Oh, I think I'll give it to Jane. I will say this: Starfleet has a PTSD problem. They do not deal with that. They do not take care of that.
No.
Yeah, I'll give it to Jane.
I almost asked a question about the limitations of TV on Star Trek.
Yeah.
I did not.
Okay.
Okay. So this is mine. Sorry. Scroll. Okay. Every show has a character who gives us an outsider's perspective on humanity, such as Spock, the Doctor, 7 of 9. Be it resolved, Odo blew Data out of the water in this area. 4 is Ashley. Against it's Katie.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna say Odo is definitely the ultimate outsider, because Data is already primed with a lot of what is humanity within him, what it is to be human, because he was programmed by a human. Odo is a changeling. He didn't even know who he was. He was discovered, and in the first few seasons of Deep Space Nine, he's searching for his people. He's so outside that he doesn't know where he comes from, and he's so different from everyone else that he interacts with because they're all humanoids and they don't change into a puddle of goo every 16 hours.
So while it's true that Odo does have those kind of characteristics, changes into goo and things like that. Data is so different because he doesn't have the same kind of mortality. There's something disconnected about not being a biological entity. At bottom, we know that Odo is still part of the kind of quote unquote natural order that's going on, but Data is completely removed from that, being a different kind of entity altogether, to the point where they have to go through a measure of a man and actually like determine whether or not he is property or an independent consciousness.
Yeah, but then that's like saying that the computer is an outsider from the rest of the crew because they have to decide if it's an entity.
The computer's
or,
not
or
sentient, though.
Just a thing. It becomes sentient eventually, and they don't go through all of that stuff, and it's not considered an outsider character. It's just, it is what it is, and it's still on the ship. We have sentient computer in
still
Discovery.
is engaging in all of those things, and we see Data at every moment through the entire series dissect more of humanity more purposefully, with humor and being the best man at the wedding and engaging those things. So we see a deeper dive. Not to diss Odo, I love him as a character, but Data gets a much more deeper dive into the dissection of what humanity is. It's really his fundamental purpose.
But Odo gets turned into a humanoid, and he is a solid for a season, and he has to deep dive into what it means to have to eat and to expel waste and to sleep and to have relationships that are completely different from what they were when he was a changeling.
But he's
That's
still a
big
biological
change for him.
entity that's engaging in everything else. Data is completely isolated from
Theoretically, the biological entity, though, like you can see on the changelings that are older that they have to go into the Great Link, or they're missing a whole piece of themselves. So he's missing a whole piece of himself.
They still have that kind of interconnected community and part of the natural order that Data just never experiences.
Data has friends.
Hey Jane, we are so far over time.
This is tough. I'm sorry, I'm letting it go on, and I'm like, but yeah. Oh no.
The person that spoke last is definitely right.
Oh shoot. Oh man. Okay, so I like that Data dissects along the way, and he just, but then turning into a solid and all the eating and all of that stuff from Odo. Oh. Ashley, I didn't think you could do it because I'm on the Data, but Ashley got it. Ashley won.
Odo is one of my favorite characters. I love Odo. I'm glad I got Odo. And I mean, I love Data too, but I love Odo.
Yeah, I was really pleased they didn't do another like lifeless character. Like,
yeah,
Data works, but I don't think it's a character you can repeat every time. It becomes tropey if you do it too often.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, friends with benefits. Be it resolved that Troy and Riker were totally hooking up on TNG when they weren't in relationships with other people. All right. Ashley, you're for. Jane, you're against.
Okay, they were not hooking. Okay. All right.
Not hooking up. Hooking up.
Not hooking up.
Right, we're totally hooking. Yeah, I absolutely agree with this. I mean, you can see the little bits of jealousy through both of them when both of them were constantly hooking up with other people, and not necessarily just relationships, but like one night stands when there were certain delegates and stuff on the Enterprise. And you could see that little bit of jealousy run through both of them. You could definitely see it when Thomas Riker came aboard and him and Troy started getting close. Riker was not happy about that. So definitely, I think they were hooking up, and that's the reason they ended up together in the end.
Well, I don't think they were not hooking up, because they wouldn't have that jealousy. They wouldn't have that little. I agree with you that there was that, we were together, and a little bit of jealousy. But if they were friends with benefits, if they were getting what they needed from each other on the side in secret, then they wouldn't have that. There wouldn't be that tension. They would have come to a decision. yeah, we're going to do it occasionally, have a relationship, but in the background, we're doing it. No, they would have been content. So that sexual tension meant that they were not having sex, that they wanted to, and they had in the past. But if they were doing it, there wouldn't be that tension.
All right. Free for all.
I think they thought it was friends with benefits, but I think that it was more they were both in love with each other and they didn't that jealousy was there. I think that sexual tension was actually romantic tension and not sexual tension, because they had sex all the time. There's no sexual tension once you already have sex. They were in a relationship. They had already been having sex. They wouldn't have that sexual tension anymore. They were in love with each other and they thought they were friends with benefits, but they weren't.
I agree with they were in love with each other, but sex. No. Just the interaction, like when she was going for
They
a
had those
commander's
sly little
exam.
smiles.
When they're going for a commander's exam, it was a very professional relationship. I just don't even think that they would have had a relationship like that. They would have considered it unstarfleet. They would have had reported their relationship. They wouldn't be lying in the background to everyone. That's not the moral code. Would they could get kicked out for having affairs like that on the side.
Could they?
No,
I don't
maybe.
think so, and I don't think
They didn't report their relationship.
I don't think either of them really had that high of a moral code, because both of them went against Starfleet many times if they believed in what they were doing. And that was Jellicoe's biggest problem with Riker, was that he didn't have a high moral compass, that he would do what he wanted if it pleased him and if he thought it was right.
An androgynous lady, the guy in the dome. Yeah, they got around both.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Ashley, particularly with the romantic relationship was causing the jealousy, I think, where he couldn't admit his feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They were in love the whole time.
They were absolutely in love the whole time.
So I just found, Davan, I'm doing a shout out to the library. I just found out that on Hoopla, on the public library, you can get all sorts of narrated Trek audiobooks, and they're narrated by cast members. And
wow.
Jonathan Frakes does Imzadi. Yeah, so you can actually listen to Imzadi done by Jonathan Frakes. But my favorite book is Q-in-Law, where, does anybody know this book?
No.
It was like one of the first ones I ever read. So it's Q marries Loxana Troy. And I know, right? Like, it's the episode you wanted to happen. But it's done by John Delancey. So John Delancey actually does it. The balance is a little off, like the music is a little too loud in the background, but it's still, yeah, they're totally fun. So there are all sorts of cast members doing all sorts of audiobooks.
Are they long books or just short?
Like they're novels. They're all those Trek novels that came out from the right from 89 all the way up. So yeah.
Wow.
I got that app at your suggestion, and I actually listened to Kate Mulgrew do the autobiography of Captain Nebula.
You can listen to it for free through your library.
It was fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That was great, you guys. That was a classic episode of Debate 9. Katie, I think you were robbed on the data question. But other than that.
It's tough. It's so tough.
Being the judge is so hard. Especially when you're also a competitor. You're like, But like, great job, you guys.
And then you just want to talk about some of these for like a half an hour.
Yes.
Well, that's why we developed the Class L Probe show. Yeah. Which is that.
Yeah, the deep dives.
The deep dives. So yeah, you guys should come on the Class L Probe sometime as well. We launch a lot of probes over there.
Well, we said yes, we're invited.
Yeah. Well, did you know that we are a member of a United Federation of Podcasts,
I did
I
know
had
that.
heard that
yes,
rumor.
yes.
where we have many great shows, many Star Trek related, including what's that? Oh, the Treckle Trunk. Yep, and Ashley Millard's other hosting show, The Trouble with Trivia. Have to get one of those going soon.
We're
What
getting
do you
one of
think,
those
Ashley?
going soon too. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
I've got some questions.
Oh, excellent. You know, we do lots of things in this Live Long and Podcast larger entity, you know, larger crystalline type entity. You know, there's many divisions. There's lots of show reviews and Star Trek radio theater and science stuff like we just did. That was considered science, you guys, what you guys just did.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Science.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
great.
it's fun to dive into the different kinds of questions.
Hmm.
This is definitely the episode with the most sex questions.
Well, there you go.
Jane just like sex. No.
No.
Oh my god. You guys have me laughing.
Have we just figured out that women think about sex more than men?
Or just willing to
Perhaps.
talk about it.
This is the science division.
Sex and
Like I did
orgasms.
answer your question with my hands. Orgasms have never been mentioned.
I was going to say, Davan, you need to say the word orgasm now.
I just did it for the first time. That's the first
Congratulations.
time we just broke ground. Yep. Thank you. We also have X-rated the X-Men animated review show. Myself and my
Nice X-rated
co-host
segue there.
Andre. Exactly. We just interviewed writer Len Yulee. That was a great interview. Go check it out. It's fascinating, actually, and very touching at times. And Andre also has the Graphic Histories podcast, where he also interviews many people in comics and film and other such enterprises. And there's also Hold Up a Movie podcast, where Murphy and I talk about movies every couple of weeks, and sometimes we have a guest. We talk about 3 movies. The next one's going to be on heist movies, featuring Jaemeel Robinson will be on as our guest. And there's Super Mader Brothers. They do reality show reviews, and we also do Marvel reviews over there in the Mary Mader Marvel Society. That's fun times. And on Fridays, because I don't have enough podcasts, me and Baker and Francis talk about The Simpsons and go through that episode by episode. We're in season 2 now, so it's getting pretty good. It's getting real good, actually. So check that out as well, and check out the Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn, YTV Zone, Michael Chan, star of Popularity Papers. Check that out on your local YTV station, Canadians. I don't think it has distribution in the US yet. So demand that, American listeners. Demand the Popularity Papers starring Michael Chan. There's also Trivial Debates. That's a fun monthly show we have, and the last one was on wrestling. I don't know what the next one's on. Cousin Dave gonna have to tell us that. And the next one, the newest show we have in our federation is Aiming on Track. Eamon Mader talks about albums. He ranks it. No, I don't think he rates them. He reviews them, I would say. And he just did the full soundtrack of Hamilton with Cousin Dave, and he talked about the King of the Delta Blues Singers, Robert Johnson, with me. And I think I was having more fun than he was, so that's fun.
Was he not into that album, or?
I think both him and his father find it more repetitive than I do. But especially Robert Johnson. To me, Robert Johnson, every song is completely different, and it's a masterpiece. But that's just me. But I talked about that over on Aiming on Track. So, any final thoughts from you 3 before we get out of here?
Well, thanks for inviting.
Yeah, thanks for having
suggesting
us.
this tonight.
That was
good.
fun.
Thanks for
Yeah.
defending the honor of your husbands. You can tell Kevin he gets to live another day, whereas the other 2 will unfortunately be put into those chambers, those torture chambers from TOS.
The reigning championship is still House of Millard.
Oh, right. Kevin was the reigning champion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. You guys are just like putting diamonds on that belt. All right. That's fine. Well, geez, now you guys are like the enemy, and we have to like take down your house Klingon style.
Just find a tribble.
Icy over
Apparently,
here.
they'll back right off.
Oh yeah, there's if you go to
Legit
Daystrom, you can get
terrifying.
an attack dribble. It's okay. We'll get some attack dribbles.
like-
We're good. Those things
I love
move too
James.
fast. Terrifying.
Jane's point about how can you kill something that's like was born pregnant, it's just sad. I was like,
Yes. There were so many things I was like, this is being recorded. I can't say any of this shit. I mean, I can tell you what to do with it, but it's not going to help.
oh, there's
think-
no rules here on debate
Yeah,
now.
no, we've made inappropriate jokes on radio theater, so it's fine. They make it through. It's
Oh
good.
yeah, I got drunk one time.
Yes, you
Oh my
did.
God.
And you kept yelling at my husband.
It's true. Good times, good times. All right. Well, on that note, let's get out of here. All right. Thanks
Right.
again.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Good night.
Locutors of Trek.